The common instinct for achieving significant influence is to reach for the most visible markers of success first: venture capital, connections, or viral fame. Acquiring those assets before developing the underlying knowledge to back them up creates a structural flaw. When a massive reputation rests on a total lack of skill, it cannot support the immense pressure of that exposure. It eventually buckles. Entrepreneur and investor Stephen Bartlett argues for a different sequence. Through building his own companies and interviewing hundreds of leaders, Bartlett realized that lasting influence requires a strict sequential architecture of growth, and that architecture always starts internally. Skipping these steps creates a fragile foundation, doomed to fail the moment it actually meets the weight of success. The first foundational layer involves keeping death at the front of your mind. Instead of a source of depression, facing your own mortality serves as a relentless reminder that every hour is one you'll never get back, forcing you to spend your limited energy only on what genuinely matters. Philosopher Alan Watts warned that fixating on the passage of time can trigger a toxic anxiety where you feel pressured to maximize pleasure every second. Awareness of that timeline serves a more productive purpose, keeping you anchored in the work happening right now. Anchoring yourself to an authentic goal unlocks a specific psychological advantage: positive stress. While high-stakes pursuits are inherently anxious, choosing a meaningful challenge reframes that tension into an energizing fuel that sharpens your focus. Every action you take provides evidence to yourself about what you are capable of. This consistency fortifies your self-concept. You start acting like a resilient person, so you believe you are one, creating a compounding cycle of personal confidence. Resilience grows from intentionally linking your identity to a challenge worth the suffering. With the internal psychology established, the external mechanics begin with acquiring rare, high-demand skills. This expertise provides the leverage needed to attract connections and capital willing to fund your ideas. Once you have that capital, survival depends on your ability to design a laboratory built for constant, rapid experimentation. To execute this, companies often rely on internal startups. These are small, autonomous, cross-functional teams that operate as independent units. By cutting through red tape, these nodes can test new products and services at lightning speed. Most of the experiments these teams run will fail. In this model, a single success exponentially covers the sunk costs of 1,000 dead-end mistakes. Engineering a high failure rate on small, cheap experiments is the safest, most reliable strategy for discovering real innovation in an unpredictable market. Alongside bold experiments, a successful business obsesses over microscopic details. Running thousands of subtle tests on a product creates a multitude of tiny upgrades. Over time, those almost invisible tweaks compound into a massive competitive advantage. Conversely, ignoring seemingly insignificant user complaints allows small oversights to accumulate. Eventually, those tiny flaws quietly merge into critical vulnerabilities that alienate your entire consumer base. To prevent this, teams can conduct a pre-mortem. You actively imagine a future where the company has already collapsed, identifying exactly what killed the business so you can fix those vulnerabilities today. Enduring market dominance requires holding two viewpoints at once, optimizing the microscopic daily details while simultaneously defending against massive existential threats. No matter how refined the architecture gets, it will eventually hit a ceiling, the limits of your own personal time. Scaling your impact requires abandoning the ego and hiring people who are vastly more skilled than you are. In the earliest days of a startup, managing those elite talents requires an intense, fanatical culture to generate the momentum needed for liftoff. But human beings cannot maintain that level of devotion indefinitely. As the company stabilizes, the culture must transition into a supportive ecosystem that prioritizes personal autonomy and long-term well-being to prevent burnout. Operating this mature ecosystem demands extreme emotional intelligence. Managers must study their team and customize their coaching to match the unique psychological triggers of each individual. Effective leadership moves beyond central control to focus on designing an environment where brilliant people naturally perform at their limit. Even with a flawless internal engine, a business will stall if its external presentation is off. Packaging and marketing must align with your audience's pre-existing worldview and their definition of high quality. To cut through modern advertising fatigue, your brand has to balance novelty with familiarity. Marketer Gary Vaynerchuk popularized a framework for this, known as jab, jab, right hook. A jab is a piece of content designed to build a relationship by providing value or entertainment without asking for a sale. After delivering a series of jabs, you deploy the right hook, a direct call to action converting trust into a purchase. A moment of wonder. This sequential architecture, linking human psychology to market perception, transforms the desire for influence into a repeatable system for growth.